r/AskMen. Salamander says, why is it okay for women to be insecure, but not for men? I've often noticed that when I was dating girls, they would ask me if I found another girl attractive or not. If I answered honestly, they would get frustrated. If I didn't answer honestly, they liked it. To me, this shows a sense of insecurity. I don't mind that someone is insecure, it's totally human. I have complete compassion for it. When a woman sees that a man has insecure sensitive sides, she immediately looks down on him. For many, this is a turn-off. Where is the compassion in that? How does that align with feminism? Barapose says, insecurity is human, but society unfairly stigmatizes it differently for men and women. Let's all just be more understanding of each other. Noisa Kenobi says, I notice this quite a lot. Some of the instances that have been floating in my head ever since I have come across a house talk, the difference is when stories of cheating come out, the cheating that happened in the past. When women are posting that they found out this about their partner, most people will be saying how she should leave him and never forgive him. No ifs or buts are needed. But when it is men that are asking for advice on the same matter, people will start making up excuses that people change and it has been so long. How you are in the wrong for throwing away years of a relationship because of something that happened so long ago. How if you can't get over something that happened so long ago, that means you never loved her, blah blah blah. I noticed these especially on ATA. It is really annoying how to loud a voice always seems to be biased towards the woman in the post. OK Preparation 2307 says, but when it is men that are asking for advice on the same matter, people will start making up excuses that people change and it has been so long. How you are in the wrong for throwing away years of a relationship because of something that happened so long ago. How if you can't get over something that happened so long ago, that means you never loved her, blah blah blah. I noticed these especially on ATA. It is really annoying how to loud a voice always seems to be biased towards the woman in the post. I have never read a post about cheating where the men are advised to stay with the women. Never, not once. I have only seen other men making excuses and telling the woman those exact things about how it's just built into men and she needs to get over it and not ruin her marriage. Never once seen the opposite. Usually most people condemn the cheater regardless of sex. Big Dung 4 of us says, double standards. Felicit Housefiend says, more than double standards, men are poorer at verbally holding women accountable than women. I'll give an example, just happened. Wife was saying her coworkers were complaining about their partners. Ask them to cook. Guy asks what are we cooking, blah blah blah. Call this weaponized incompetence. I fire back, I ask you to mow the lawn, you might have some questions. Which gas should I use? Cause you probably don't wanna frick with the kerosene. How do I get it started? Maybe even where is it? But I never once in my life hear of another man holding that type of bad behavior in check. Darai King 28 says, it's because if a man generally holds a woman accountable, she'll leave and find a more agreeable man. Said man will struggle to find another date. A woman will find one in days if not hours. It's just the reality. Returtin Tatatin says, have you never heard women interact with each other? It's not universally true, but it's very common that women place empathy above honesty as a virtue. So, they make that a cultural norm and sometimes come into conflict with men, who tend to put those virtues the other way around. It's also super common for women to subtly regard men as emotionally tougher than themselves, and they'll hold us to quite high standards on that basis, even while simultaneously tending to want to say that men and women are basically the same when it suits them. SongCloud says, both statements are so true. I dated a girl once whom I told that I didn't have any feelings for a relationship, but I would be open for friends with benefits. She declined, which was totally fair. I wanted to make sure to be honest and transparent all the time. A few months later we ended up having a ref plus anyway, and she told me how she dated a guy while she was traveling who promised her the world, confessed feelings, everything, all within a week. After that week he got back together with his ex. Like this dude promised the girl I dated a relationship already and lied to her straight in the face to get sex. Now, the r/AskMen. LavenderBobby767 says, what if God came down one day and said it's pronounced Jod then left? LavenderBobby767 says, what if Jod was one of us? Kempeth says, the inventor of the GIF would be ecstatic to finally have some legit backing for his pronunciation. Pristine Car 6253 says, then I would say G only makes a J sound when it's followed by an E. Substicle says, in the name of Jesus, I would be surprised. Dry Enthusiasm 267 says, maybe it's a prank. God and Saint Peter are in heaven laughing at us. I'm confident God has a sense of humor, just look at giraffes. Mike Drop says, I would say make an original post-karma farmer. Dude says, so is his name God, and he's also the God? Like the president's name is also president? Intro Diatro says, then it would be pronounced GIF, not GIF. Supreme Elect says, I would ask Jod what are their pronouns. Ruben001 says, I'd say, okay, fine. Have it your. 8ace says, you know that free will you gave us? I'm now going to call you Gog. Donike says, I know that American Christians would say shit like not my God and carry on as usual. Ricardo Oscilla says, praise Jod. CKN says, it would confirm to me that this almighty dude is a sadist. Cork Blocker says, being with ultimate and unlimited power in the universe. Shows up, says nothing to address all the needless human suffering, but makes sure everyone knows how to pronounce their name correctly. This tracks. Janitor Opplesnerf says, I feel like thousands of atheists would convert now that proof of God exists, and in equal amounts there would exist people leaving the faith, because it's very clearly a hard G. Mitch Harris 12 says, holy shit, it's real. 84 Orc Buttholes says, I would take it as confirmation that he's just as useless as I'd previously thought. Statomentlum P6770 says, is this the Superman 2 movie with Christopher Reeves when the president is kneeling? Oakhut says, I mean God is just what he's called in English, so it's only correcting like 20% of the population. God has had a name through hundreds of languages and has even more names. Correcting just one of those names made by humans would be weird. Dystopian Realist says, right, no one is to stone anyone until I give the command, even if they do say Jod. Georgia Shingun says, and Reddit was never the same. Larger Chug says, new sects of the Abrahamic religions would start on that event alone, imagining that it was some revelation with a deeper meaning. The other sects would deny the event even happened. Atheists would no longer be atheists, but would probably be vindicated in the notion that, if he exists, God is a jackass who doesn't do jack for us. Zo0M07 says, the pronunciation would be the least of my questions. HandIMD727 says, there would be an existential crisis about saying God's name in vain. Whole societies would lose their collective shit on the proper way to say God it. And of course, the folks that print Bibles would absolutely fleece everyone and print new ones to correct the spelling to Jod. You know, cause they like money. And Southern Baptists will be horribly confused, cause they'll be the last ones to hear about it. Nab149 says, Silent J and D, so it's just yo. r/AskMen. Holy Toledo says, when was your just going to coast through life moment? Have I reached the end game? Coming up 4 years ago, I got out of an incredibly unhealthy and terrifying relationship. Think a downgraded play Misty for me. Since then, I got out of the military, got my MBA, got 2 dogs, bought a house, benched 250 pounds, rebuilding 2 British sports cars, and landed an easy job in the south. All income streams in, I make $150k after taxes. Life is simple. I have my responsibilities and can handle them. Is this it? Have I reached the end game? I have my acquaintances, no real brothers, but I keep it quiet. I do get lonely sometimes, however I remember every bad relationship I've had. Hadn't rightly had a good one since my college GF nearly 20 years ago. So it's just me and my dogs. Which ain't that bad most of the time. Perhaps a rant of sorts. Frickeda Prediculent says, life is fine for a month or 2 until you get bored. This is the truth regardless of situation. Holy Toledo says, Q in my current Warhammer stint. Min with Venn diagram says, my man, you are winning in life. The GFs will come and go. You have a stable income in a low cost of living area, at least it sounds like it to me, a home, 2 dogs, you have your health. What I did is get off of social media and it really helped me with the fear of missing out. I just do me, and I love it. 600 kin account says, I started coasting when I got a job paying $180k a year. My wife makes twice as much as I do. Together our net worth is $1.9 millimeters. It's hard to be ambitious when coasting means I'm already set for life. Louis Litt Esquire says, I'm there, I'm 54. Doing the coast fire thing. The part-time work is annoying, but I'm in a good position to only accept work that isn't shitty. Great house, classic cars in my shop, amazing wife. N3 Rod School says, up until I had my second kid I was coasting. Proud of where I am today, I need to do better for my kids. Heliot Ineric says, I make like 35k a year and I'm coasting. I just don't give a shit anymore about anything. The world as we know it is coming to an end. I'm on easy street now. Brother to Coyotes says, play Misty for me, great movie, if you can stomach that part of it as a travel advertisement. Asked Pickard says, so about halfway through my master's degree I caught myself frequently walking out in front of traffic due to stress. Not a rhyme gonna fling myself into a car as suicide, but a whatever, I literally don't care if I get hit. I'm stressed, have things to do, and places to be. I couldn't break that cycle the entire time despite seeing how bad it was getting, so I noped out of academia after getting the degree, even though I had professors offering me positions under then for a PhD program. Figures of 4.0. Masters was more than enough for what I wanted to do with my life. Started my career and set hard boundaries. During work hours you get my full effort, you're paying for my time, so you sit as you see fit. Outside of hours are fully unreachable, unless there's an absolute emergency. Then I expect to be compensated for my time. I may work an extra half hour or an hour once a month, but otherwise I coast the rest of my day away. Pretty good now that I've got that healthy split. Regular Basket 5431 says, after I got divorced my boss decided to ratchet up the abuse while getting my ass chewed for something that was well within my authority to do. It came to me no amount of money is worth being abused, and from then on I decided I would do just enough to keep my job while trying to find another job, and the jobs I'm looking at I'm overqualified for and won't be paid near as much, but I think they are jobs where I can be at a minimum comfortable if not actually happy in those positions. Life is too, frick, I'm sure to not be comfortable and happy. Squanchy Toss says, I have 13 or 14 more hopefully easy years. Good job, wonderful second wife. Had 2 kids, and they're expensive, and just getting them on the move. Otherwise I'd be really just on cruise control. Sounds like you're doing just fine. Orangetta D-String says, you sound like you've done a lot. Keep being active and curious, you sound like you might have the availability to be able to do new things, try new things, etc. Set new goals, possibly travel if that's something you're interested in. If you want to settle down, have kids/marry, find someone to swoon. Create new endgame content for yourself. Have fun doing it as well. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.